There is no doubt here on the channel, over the years, we have chased budget horsepower. Whether you're talking about a stock bottom end 302 build with a turbo, or that budget 351 Windsor 387 stroker that we put in the black car. Whichever one of these builds are your favorite, we're about to pull out a little bit more budget horsepower out of one of them. We're about to talk about that here right now. So if you're new to the channel, we're going to go over them real quick. This is my 1990 Ford Mustang with a 351 Windsor stroker motor. Now, if you look at any of the videos here on our channel that shows 387 stroker, that's what's in this car. It's comprised of stock forged 302 pistons from the 8792 motors, stock Windsor rods, and a $300 budget crankshaft that we got from Summit Racing. With a little bit of machine work, a little bit of balancing, we have a $300 short block that made 400 wheel. But this isn't the car we're talking about today. Several years ago, we built a 302 stock bottom end motor that we did pretty much the same thing we did with that, flipping of the pistons and doing a little bit of machine work to the motor. This is my dad's 1988 Ford Mustang. Now, this motor was a 302 budget build that we did here on the channel as well. Stock bottom end 302 with flip pistons, GT40 P-heads, junkyard intake. Pretty much everything in this motor is production Ford, and then we ended up putting a turbo kit on it. But there is definitely some things we left on the table with this build that we never really truly addressed. About 3 months ago, we took the car out and shook it down. Same thing we're gonna do today. We're gonna take it for a ride, shake it down, have a little bit of fun with it. And then we're gonna bring it back to the shop and show you what we got going on next. So let's get it fired up, get some fuel in it, and let's go hit the road. So my dad's car is a basic stock bottom end 302 build, but it's also a speed density system. What that means is it doesn't have a tune. It's running on a stock computer. My dad's car is probably one of the most relatable builds that we've done here on the channel. And a couple years ago, we chased some horsepower numbers using the stock speed density system. Every so many months, I like to take it out and shake it down. And here in this video, we got some upgrades that are planned that I want to talk to you about. For the most part, the turbo speed density stuff worked, but there's quite a bit that's left to be desired as far as horsepower, throttle response, and idle. Makes about 350, 400 wheel. Not too bad for being a speed density system, but again, there's quite a bit of horsepower and tuning that we left on the table by not actually tuning it. And we don't have an exhaust. One of my favorite things to do on some of these videos, especially the ones where we're driving around, is take you down here to the park. We live right off of Lake Erie, and on a nice sunny summer day, it's really cool to show it to you guys here on the channel. This is definitely one of my favorite sites right here. We have car shows over here to the right quite often every Sunday. This is Lake Erie. This is Northeast Ohio. It's about 75 degrees. It's a beautiful day. But we're gonna head back to the shop. It's too windy down here to do video. I just wanted to show you guys this before we left. See, this is one of the problems that I want to get rid of. Outside of all these gauges and all this wiring mess, we got some issues that we need to attend to. See, when it warms up, it doesn't want to idle. We could definitely fix that with some of the stuff that we got going on back at the shop. to kick in, you know what I mean? So there's a delay there. It's the old school way of making some horsepower back in the 90s is using the FMU, because right now I'm actually on 24-pound injectors using a 19-pound injector FMU, if that makes any sense. Okay, we made it back here to the shop, and we're going to talk about a couple things that's going to make this build a little bit better. In order to make Dad's car run a little bit better, we're going to have to mass air convert it. So this old fuel management system and the old system that we had in here that made a little bit of horsepower a couple years ago, that's something that we're going to have to go ahead and say goodbye to. It runs okay, and we accomplished what we wanted it to do. Made like 370 wheel horsepower and about 9 pounds of boost. But you can only go up to like 6 or 7 pounds of boost on a speed density system before it starts acting up quite a bit. We did end up putting some junkyard 24-pound injectors in, and like I had said when we were driving, we put a Vortec fuel management system with a 19-pound disc in it. We're definitely going to be able to push a little bit more power out of it if we mass air convert it. What I got going on here on the table are some of the collection of parts that I've had over the years that we can go ahead and just utilize here on Dad's car. Now this is the A9L that we had out of the white car before we went Holley Terminator X. So we could just chip this, not a big problem. We know this computer works. We got some original Ford 42s that we actually had from Project Hot Wheels. And these are the original Ford ones. These are the good ones, not some eBay knockoff. My tune requires the 42-pound injectors, this specific style. I should be able to just plug and play this chip and it'd be fine. Since this is an original speed density computer and a speed density harness that we have in the car, we have this old school adapter. If you guys remember this Motorsports one that they used to have, they used to sell years ago. This goes in between the mass air computer and the engine harness, and it creates the pigtail for the power ground signal and signal return for the mass air. Now the type of sensor that we have for our tune is a BA5000, so it takes the BA5000 plug. So we had to buy another adapter that we're gonna have to plug in. All these things are gonna make our car run better. And we should be able to plug and play 400 wheel horsepower in this car after we do a little bit of tuning. We don't know that just yet because we don't even know if it's going to even work. So the next video that you see us with the Dad's Blue car here, we're going to be switching over the mass air meter, the injector set to 42s. We're going to be converting over to mass air using that old Motorsports plug with an A9L computer. And we're going to put old Project Hot Wheels tune in the car, and we're going to see if it fires up and goes down the street. So I think it's time we see what this motor is really all about and have a little more fun with it on the channel. All right, guys, that's pretty much all I got for the video. I'm always trying to bring some relatable content to the channel, and Dad's car is probably one of the most relatable cars that we have here on the channel. Stock bottom end, rebuilt 302 T5 street car. And there's definitely some things on Dad's car that we got to take care of. We got to get rid of all this wiring mess. We got to get rid of these gauges that we got sitting over here on our wipers. We want to get an exhaust put on the car, but we're going to get this motor running pretty good, and we're going to make a little bit more horsepower. If you guys enjoy this sort of content, leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, let me know what you guys think. Check out that join button for membership of the channel, as we will see you soon in the next video. Thanks for watching.